So what I want to do is I want to talk about the plan I have. Okay, this is the same plan as Q. I'm the one who started that, right? I was talking about Plan Q in 2006. It's a blog post I have. I darked it, but it is something I started. And I spoke about the plan of the program in 2016 when I did the outro with foreign policy, which is up on my YouTube channel as the intro. It's an outro. All right, so let's get right into what I'm doing now. This is Ellen Atkin. I am Ultra Girl. I am the girl in that famous photo that's been used to represent trauma-based mind control on children in all media. It's been around for a long time. Apparently it was dumped in the first CIA file release. There was a few people, and that was one of them. So I was in there, and that was in the 70s. I'm not sure, 80s. I need to research that some more, but it has to do with John Marks and the church committee. So what I want to do now is get people up to date with what I'm doing. So I am involved in a class action lawsuit with my mother over my mother's involvement in the young Cameron, Montreal mind control experiments in the 50s. I am involved with that, but my case is different. It's something else. It is all connected, and I understand that. But I work on a lot of levels. My personal project now, which is also my business, I'm 100% into this now, is this. So I want to do. I want to create. I am creating a media empire. I see the challenges and the goals as such. So I'm just going to read them out here. Okay, so the goals are the goals with my business plan, you can call it, to reveal and reverse all instances of MK, mind control, and SRA, satanic ritual abuse, programming in our culture, with the focus on North America, but extending into the rest of the world. To maintain and attract users in an online digital environment that privately hosts all content and media. No third-party platforms like Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, except to promote and draw people to the main site. All right, I'm not wanting to get YouTube subs and start collecting money from that. I'm not interested in that. I want direct donations and direct sales to our copyright protected content that is on our own servers. Well, not our own servers, but our own paid for hosting platforms. So you can do that with video, and of course you can do that with your own website. So I have the website, I have the hosting there, and I just need more expertise. But anyway, we'll keep going. To gather victims of abuse through past institutions, to commiserate, heal, collaborate, gather evidence, and form lawsuits. Okay, so that's what I have been doing for the last 3 years. And my lawsuit is forming only because it's the most public case to date. However, I do want to form other lawsuits because there's more than just the case of my mother involved with my personal case. It's me, and there's my dad as well. If my sister wants to join in, she can, but she is still alive, and she needs to make her own decisions as mind controlled as she is on the maximum recommended dosage of 8 different medications for 30 years or more. Anyway, to provide space to organize and share evidence of abuse within each cell pertaining to location, institution, and whatever other common thread to unite the case. So I want to try to gather people into cells. Maybe that's not the right word, but into groups, so that they can, oh yeah, I was there at that time. My mother was there. My sister was there. Yeah, this is the information I have. And so you pull together a lawsuit, evidence, but you also pull together pieces of your own puzzle. We haven't talked about this together ever, and now it's happening, and it's helping people. It's helping the victims and the victims' families, but it's also helping everybody else, because guess what? You're all involved too, right? And most people don't realize that somebody they know is part of this. And sometimes it's their own wife or husband, and they make excuses. Well, I just went along with it because they did it. They were into it. It's generational. It's Satanism. But anyway, I'll skip over that. It comes in all forms, and people forget. Anyway, to become the go-to real-time reporting media hub for socio-political analysis that is filtered through the MK reversal lens. Okay, so I'm really tired of you listening to all these red herring reports of politics and economy, everything. It's all it's all misguided. It's all bones thrown to the dogs. It all comes back to mind control. It all comes back to the real fact that there's a huge cover-up that that these people running things are Luciferian. Okay, no one wants to admit it because it just wants to get on with your life. But then these problems persist because no one admits it, because these back channels are covered up because people think it's not real, or they don't want, they're embarrassed, right? I'm not embarrassed. I am 100% out, 100% on the front lines of this now, and this is what I'm doing, okay? Not embarrassed, all in. All right, so this is what the new media empire is going to do, the goals. Then we're also going to offer up free web pages for survivors through the media site, which is called Ultra Nation Media. I already have that. I bought it and it's hosted already. So that, I mean, certainly copy this, do it on your own. I don't care, but I'm going to link to you. So that their content can be part of the collective where there is copyright protection and money collection, donation possibilities. The goal is to get everyone off the social media sites. Now, there's a lot of survivors. Most of them are having a lot of trouble financially, okay? And they put out a lot of information on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and they don't get paid for it. No one donates. Sometimes they don't even have a donation button, right? So why don't we make these into actual historical documents and then offer possibilities for these people with their content, which is creative content, to get paid, right? I mean, some of these people have like miles and miles of Facebook posts that are brilliant and insightful and full of testimony, and yet they're gone. You know, the Facebook page is gone and all the content's gone. Why don't compile it? Let's do that, okay? Because we need to make this timestamp in history. Otherwise, it will go around again and your children will get involved and become victims, okay? To provide a moderated forum, okay, it goes without saying, to have an ongoing marketing promotional campaign to attract funds, okay? So this is my business area of expertise. I was in sales and marketing for many years. I have marketed myself as a photographer, marketed other photographers, artists. I've sold art. I've sold lots of things. I could sell anything pretty much. I sold advertising. That's where I really cut my teeth on it. I was 24/7. I worked for Yellow Pages advertising company, and that's where I learned how to do what I'm doing. There should be, and of course I've studied internet marketing since like 2010. There should be at least 10 different ways to support the site up at any given page. There can also be ways to individualize donations for specific causes and specific people. All right, so it's not just all for Ultra Nation. There should be nice streams, so your money will go to what you want it to go to, or to whom you want it to go to. In addition, I want to mention that I want money from the Illuminati, basically. Yeah, I mean, give it here. Okay, I'm not really interested in poor people donations. I don't want to take money from poor people, especially other survivors. Although, if you have it and you really want to give, okay, I'm not going to stop you. I've done that before too. All right, to provide avenues for healing and recovery through online reading material, therapy databases, and any other means. Now, the healing part is huge. To me, for me, just reading other people and listening, researching other testimony is really good for healing. Uh, I haven't done conventional therapy because, well, that's what got everyone I know into trouble, and they really have uh, done more of a disservice to survivors in the last, well, 100 years, as long as it's been around, than they have a service, in my opinion. But it's becoming more of a thing. So there should be there's probably good therapists out there, and we should have the database for those. And whatever else you need for healing, you know, people can offer up their own healing. For me, it's full spectrum cannabis. It really is. Edibles, right? That's what it is, because it makes you feel better. It connects your neural pathways with all your body stuff, and that's what happened to me. I was frazzled. Okay, so I need to reconnect them. To create and or correct existing communities whereby those who want to correct their standing in the commercial world and fend off the deep state can live. All right, this means that really we have to get community based. This is what I have been talking about, and I interviewed Melanie Bears 3 years ago, and this is her focus. You need to get to know your neighbors, and you need to form an action plan. This individualization, isolation, I mean, my thing doesn't work. Look what happened in California. You know, everyone had the wrong insurance or don't even know what they're doing. They're just following along like good little slaves, and then they get zapped and they're completely effed, right? So part of the way to resist that is to form communities. Now, can't do it physically. We can start by doing it virtually. And there are ways to not get sucked into the commercial, that whole free man in the land thing, sovereign thing. Now, those words are probably poisoned, and I'm not talking about that, but there's definitely ways to correct your standing, okay, and fend off the deep state. I've fended it off a lot, but of course I'm ultra girl, and I don't know what, how. My dad was a real hard ass, and I learned a bunch of stuff from him. But I've done more in my own way as well. I don't have the same fear of government like most people do. Anyway, to provide whistleblower, public informant, and testimony givers a copyright protected platform. Okay, so once again, that's what we want, so that there can be some historical reference, because hopefully we can archive this, and also hopefully we can monetize it. All right, to respond to inquiries. How many times have I heard other survivors tell me I'm the only survivor who has ever got back to them? Most of them are paranoid pariahs who will ruin every opportunity they ever get. Now, this just happened to me last week, again, with the same guy, but it's not all the time, of course. There's some good level-headed survivors in it, but there's so many whacked out targets. Let's recognize that. Yes, I understand the survivor mentality, fearing the worst, examining every possible evil foil at every turn. But what else is new? That is what business people do every day. A lot of people do a lot of these things, and they don't put on that target crybaby thing. Now, I know what targeting is, and I have an explanation that goes beyond most people's, but nobody wants to hear it. I have to find a way to put it into terms that people will understand, which is why for this whole media empire, so I can focus on doing that, in a supportive environment that will like continue to build on awareness. Okay, because I have uncovered so much in my 3 years of research in this that it's helped me immensely. And that's what I'm going to do for other people, right? Now you can reject it, that's fine, but for the most part, I help people. To create a privacy, media, and content policy page. Okay, so we're gonna have rules, all right? To make real-time and place healing centers and to attract funding for such. All right, I've been talking about the healing centers from day one. I mean, real place healing centers, and I've dreamt about it even, and I've seen it. I know it's there. I gotta pull it into this frame, right? This time stamp we're in. All right, so we're also going to plan and execute festivals, conferences, workshops, and create a committee for this sole purpose with a dedicated security spook alert detail. All right, because we know who to look for. It's so funny. I can spot him. I know what that whole thing's about. For me now, my worst enemy are my friends. For people I think are my friends, my relationships, and it's just these slides that I will fall into based on my own. Personality, basically. But everything else I pretty much have x-ray vision over. It's hard to fool me in that sense of, the mask that people wear. And this is a problem with a lot of these conferences, apparently. Like, they're just crawling with spooks. Anyway, I want to meet the people that I respect in this movement. I think I want to meet them in person, come together. Okay, that's what I want to do. All right, and the next point is to create a members-only platform and keep it maintained with value-added content. Okay, so this is to once again monetize. So this would be like a member page, and then you're going to get more value than just being an onlooker on the site. And then we're going to need people to put the content in there to actually have the value in there. I can't do that. I don't even do that with my Patreon page. I can only do that with, it's public. It's all my public stuff. It's just too much. I don't have the setup or the organization yet. So there's going to be a strict member policy pledge, and we'll need to be agreed to that. Okay, so when it comes to the forum, I guess, right? And otherwise, it doesn't matter. To provide ministry. All right, in my opinion, it is important to not ignore the religious, spiritual, and devotional aspects of this movement. People need to know that 99% of the time they are praying to Satan. This is my area of expertise, so attacking and rectifying scriptural, biblical lies while still providing a framework for spiritual verification is my thing. That's what I want to do. That's my piece, all right? And of course, that is right field. The field means Eden, and what I've been doing is clearing the field, and this is definitely attempting to clear the field. You cannot actually do this work without involving the other dimensions, and that's another problem that people trying have, and they end up chasing the tiger's tail again, right? To actually do this work and to tie up the loose ends of the timeline so they never come back again is a whole other business that I am doing, because that's what I know how to do. I don't ask me how. That's what I came to do as a volunteer. All right. So next, to attack the media competition. All right. That's what salespeople do. You go after the competition. You want to get somewhere in your in your business. You attack the competition. Okay. So in my opinion, the competition are anonymous and non-anonymous blogs, websites that share and distribute and comment on MK Ultra topics, but claim to not be MK'd or targeted or SRA VIX. I don't believe that. Everybody who is interested in this is. Otherwise, you're what I call an MK gawker, like a freak show, which is why I labeled this post freak show, because no one wants. It's more, attracts people, right? And in many ways, I've been a freak show since I went public with this, and that's why people are like, oh, don't do it, right? But it doesn't matter to me, and I can still go about my life, and it's fine. I'm better because of it. Anyway, alternative news sites and obvious shills like Craig Sawyer. Okay, let's say Craig Sawyer's name because he's just such a goof. But anyway, alternative news sites. I mean, they're a competition. It doesn't mean I totally disrespect all of them. And in fact, I don't really totally disrespect any of them. My opinion on fake news, is it's all fake, and you just have to sift through all of it for whatever you need to know. And you need to know how to cut the truth, cut from the lies. And you can't just discard a whole website or a whole person, or because they're CIA shills, right? They have a lot of good information. You just got to know how to place it, right? All New Age sites. Now, this is fertile ground. Now, the New Age movement is where I came from as I segued into this topic in 2015 when I found Ultra Girl. Yeah, I was just about to become part of this Swiss Indo New World government. Yeah, really. It still hasn't formed yet. Anyway, every New Ager that is pumping some kind of galactic council, soul guide, they're all Illuminati kids that went through torture. All of them. Okay? They don't talk about that because they don't remember it. Now, a few of them are talking about it because it's cool now. Like MK Ultra is cool now, and I guess you can thank me part for that. But now it's like, oh yeah, but they're still pumping their bullshit, which is that they're special, better. It's not what it is, and that whole ascension trip is like the rapture, is the lie that the Luciferians believe. So it doesn't matter how they twist it up or untwist it, it's still twisting in the wrong direction. So I've got the 99%, I'm not saying 100% foolproof, but I pretty much figured this whole game out with the research I've done in the last 3 years. It's really helped, but the picture was the real cool thing that really made it the most revealing piece of the puzzle. That changed my direction. But anyway, the next point is to draw in, collaborate with, and collect talent. I've already made enough talent, enough connections in this movement to know who's who. In Canada, I know almost everyone, lots of them personally. In my opinion, there's very little that these people are talking about that I've not already figured out. Unfortunately, there are few who are willing to venture into the most esoteric aspects of this timeline conundrum we are in. However, continuing to ignore these very real quantum time loops, in my opinion, is the reason we are in this predicament in the first place. Okay, so you can talk about this aspect of, politics and the pedophilia and all that, but you gotta know how to actually change the timeline, or it's just gonna repeat. I remember hearing about all this stuff in the 80s. All right, challenges, and that's what they were working on in the deep state, and they still are. But we'll get to that. Other survivor sites, as you may have already learned, other survivors are most often operate in a vacuum, only concerned about their own popularity. I get that. You got to protect your space. There is no end goal other than to expose or bring forth their information. And I get it. That's step one. Most often they consider other survivor stories as competition to their own, as though there is only a limited audience and they want to grab it. Now, that's happened to me many times with many different survivors. Ultra Nation will link to all these sites so people do not have to go anywhere else to find them. No agreements or sharing needs to be made for this. It's public commons information, unless someone specifically asks, I don't want to be involved in your Ultra Nation crap, okay? Fine, don't. Money, manpower, technical expertise. I can't do everything. This summer I hired a web designer to put up ellenatkin.com and mkultragirl.org, which is a simple WordPress blog, but it's still not my thing. I ran out of money and I didn't get ultranationmedia.com up before then. The site is in a template form. It is important to host our own videos, okay? Amazon S3 is the recommended platform for that, but it still takes expertise, and I'm sure I could acquire it, but I don't have the time to do it. We need to attract people with these skill sets. Action plans. These are the challenges, okay? People don't seem to realize that stopping child abuse is more than a slogan. What people refuse to see is that there is a Nazi-inspired death cult that has infiltrated every aspect of society, religion, entertainment, institutions, politics, etc. Now, ours is Nazi, but in different parts of the world, it's different, right? But it's all Luciferian. It is, and it all represented by different things. Like even the inner Earth, it's Luciferian. That whole thing is. The king of the world is Lucifer down there. Mr. That they're all like, oh, the king of the world. That's Lucifer, the winged being, right? She. Anyway, they still refuse to accept the occult reality behind this takeover. Until they learn and accept the occult aspect of this, they will be chasing the tiger's tail, playing into the hands of the controllers who are way ahead of them and will foil their every intention. If exposure of these deeds had any effect, it would have been over long ago. An action plan needs to be adopted. All right, so the pledge. This is segues nicely into the pledge. I recommend that a pledge be drawn up for all members of the public and private office by our group, and it's circulated within communities by community. So this pledge is to identify, these cults and the people in the cults and the actions that may, suspect the cult. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is, and you have to a pledge to do that because most often people don't do anything. That's what we're trained to do. We're afraid. We're afraid that we're gonna, because that's what the cult does. It puts fear into you, tortures you, tortures everybody from childhood. And then you're supposed to do it all because you're going to be killed if you don't. And it's based on a lie. But anyway. So if we have this pledge to start with, then we can refer back to it as a pledge, okay? As a point of honor, right? So sleeper cult operatives, these are challenges, okay? One of the biggest challenges to this crusade is that the cult has been so good at their jobs, their plants are everywhere, plants, and they do not even know it. I was a plant, right? The sleeper, Manchurian candidate, programmed MK slave, doesn't remember. All these new age people, they don't remember. I still have no memories of torture or abuse other than my standard abusive father, who's very abusive. I would say, but it has nothing to do with cult abuse. I mean, it does, but it's not like, oh, I remember, I don't remember that stuff, that real bad stuff, okay? But I know it's there. I would say the number is as high as 80%. Now, this would mean people who are actually had the programming or the torture. I'd say 80% don't remember, okay? So the pledge must include the accounting for this. If a person taking the pledge finds out they are in fact part of the cult working on their behalf, they will pledge to reveal that in their first suspicion. So I'm saying people could say that, oh yeah, I'll take this pledge, and then of course they find out that they're in it and then it changes. So they have to realize that because it's a process. This is a process and it doesn't end. So in summary, I've gone as far as I can go in this process alone. Now is the time to launch. I have 3 years of research and collaboration in the field of MKUltra and SRA abuse. I know who to trust and who not to trust. Media is the best tool, in my opinion, to sway the decaying constructs of our society, first pinned together by a cult that has pledged its motives to Lucifer. Until the cult members realize that the initial promise of Lucifer is a lie, then we will continue to endlessly circle the wagons of time loop probabilities, where this fact does not get revealed and more generations are ensnared. This is the core function of the military-industrial complex. They say it's for your own good. That's what they're doing. They are continuing this lie that they don't want you to know because it's for your own good, because they think that you're gonna fall apart when you realize this, and the whole society will fall apart. Well, let it fall apart is what I say, and so many others. But that is what it's about. So, yeah, and that is what's referred to as ascension in the New Age world, and the rapture in the evangelical Christian. That is the lie of Lucifer, that we will transform out of these flesh sacks that were never meant to be in the first place against God's wishes into an equal being of God. That's the lie, and that's what they're doing it for, and it's a lie. It'll never happen. Okay, so just gotta find. If you realize that, then you're out of the freaking game. Then it's like, oh, okay, great, because most people actually still believe it, and then they're fooled into believing it, even if they're not like card carrying, blood drinking cultists. Anyway, bringing this effort to resolve will take more than me, one person. Undoubtedly, you will not agree with everything I'm saying. That's okay. I don't hold others' ignorance against them either when I see them making progress and having the right intention. This is a process, a constantly revealing process. Okay, so we're looking to fill the following positions: angel financial investors, collaborative financial investors, and financial investors, where we'll arrange some kind of return. Marketing managers and teams. All right, we need those, okay? Several of them. Daily content producers, clearly. Website creators, builders, programmers, we need a lot of that. I actually have one, but I need to pay her. Internet security professionals, I have one, and I need to pay him too. Researchers, right? Goes without saying. I've got a whole bunch waiting in the wings for that. Content collaborators, same thing. Forum moderators, yeah, I've got a couple of people for that. Lawyers, we need lawyers. Writers, book designers, publishers, graphic designers. And we have a 50 spots for a free ultranationmedia/yournamehere.com website. Okay, so you can have your own website hosted by Ultranation Media. The first 50 to apply for that, get it free. That's it for now. Thank you very much. Be in touch. Yeah, just contact me with all my obvious contact information everywhere. EllenAtkin.com, EllenAtkin@gmail. My phone number is 604-259-9508. I've got a Patreon page. I've got a PayPal account. The first thing we're going to do once we get enough money is establish a trust, because all this money is going into a trust. I'm not going to have it, come on, it's not going to be like my money. It's going to go into a trust. So that's what we're going to use the money for as well. And then, of course, I have the stores where you can buy my art. All right, thank you so much. Goodbye.
I'm MK, Ultra Girl. I'm a girl of the winter. That's me. I refer to myself as hardcore programmed, and everything they did to us, they just are reactions back on you, the general populace that is now maybe in its second, third generation after. It's a deep grid, so I'm taking the energy and the frequency back that they stole from me. There's nothing real about history or anything that we've been taught. that's going down the toilet. And if you have any understanding of your own frequency and the truth in your frequency, cord to God, maybe strong cord to God with your own frequency, then you might get through this, because there is no right now. Black and white. It's called psychology. State of mind, the psychology of control. And it only takes an understanding, a willful understanding of the now to break the spell. Step into the new plan, not the old program, the new plan. Everyone has an agent, a matrix agent in their life, or 1,000 forced at every turn. No wonder people are going crazy. You can be MK'd, or you can be in truth and understanding what's going on. It can be great if you're prepared, and it can be disastrous if you're not. The only things between you and your freedom, what you then control you. Because the program failed. It's a failure. And that can mean hiding it, being locked in your room with all these towers and TI, all this influence coming at you, and you think you have nowhere to go. Just fucking walk out the door. Walk out the door, throw it all in the garbage, throw the cell phone in the garbage, and say, fuck it. Fuck this. Throw it with me.